A recurring task on every advertiser to-do list is to check your daily budgets and your pacing, going in and manually increasing budgets for your top performing campaigns and vice versa, manually decreasing budget for your worst performing campaigns. It's very tedious, but it's necessary in order to make sure that we increase the performance of our account and that we hit our budget goals by the end of the month or the quarter, depending on your time frame. I want to go ahead and show you two SAM automations that you can create inside of SAMmy that will increase budget for your best campaigns and vice versa, decrease budget for your worst campaigns so that you can get some time back and redirect that attention and energy on more important work. So let's go ahead and jump into SAMmy. And here in SAMmy, I'm going to go ahead and use a daily pacing SAM template just to make this as quick as possible. At the time of this recording, we can do this for LinkedIn, Google, and Meta. So I'm going to go ahead and select LinkedIn and Meta just to walk you through it. And because we're using the SAM template, the entire rules are already created inside of this workflow or this automation. So all I got to do now is just modify my rules for LinkedIn and Meta, and I can publish the SAM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up for a specific set of campaigns because I've got a budget in mind for those set of campaigns and a certain KPI that I want to optimize around. So I'm going to just go ahead and put here, fix my ads, because these are going to apply specifically to my fix my ad campaigns. It's a type of offer that we're running inside of ad conversion. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to modify my rule here for LinkedIn, and we're just going to go ahead and follow the workflow. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my customer account, and you can see here we have to choose the campaigns that we want this to apply to. So I'm going to go ahead and search the fix my ads campaigns. This is where naming conventions are awesome. And I'm just going to go ahead and select all of these just for the sake of simplicity right now. So I've got 21 campaigns selected, and now we're going to leave the task set to budget because we want to go ahead and change our budgets depending on our rule condition. And here under budget variable, this is where you get to decide how much SAMmy can increase your daily budget if your rule is met. So in my case, I'm going to move this to 20%. I want to be a little bit more aggressive. And what I'm going to do, this is super important, is I'm going to set a budget cap. So you can set a minimum and a maximum. So this way, if SAMmy is increasing your budget, it will never exceed this maximum budget cap. So that way you have peace of mind that it's not going to get too crazy in terms of the daily budget per campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that as $250. What I want to do now is I want to set my frequency and my time frame. So in this case, I have my frequency set to once per day. I want SAMmy to check, looking over the performance and the data over the last 90 days. And it's going to look at my 21 campaigns in this example. And for any of them that are active and still running, it's going to basically assess and it's going to look and see if my daily pacing is greater than 1, meaning greater than 100, and my cost per conversion is less than my average cost per conversion over the last 90 days. Now my campaigns that meet this condition will be eligible, and SAMmy will go ahead and increase my daily budget by 20%. And they'll run this workflow every single day until hypothetically this workflow gets paused, or all of my campaigns get shut off because of hitting my budget for the month, or because I finally hit my daily budget cap of $250. So just to give some context on how daily pacing is calculated, it's looking at your spend yesterday against your actual daily budget. So let's say I've got a daily budget of $100 and yesterday I spent $105. That means I'm 5% over my daily budget, which means I can increase the amount of budget per campaign. This is something we're doing manually all the time as advertisers. So just using this this metric is going to just automate this. So from here, if I want to change the metric, so in my case, I'm doing cost per conversion against average cost per conversion. For example, for you, maybe you're doing an awareness campaign. You could do something like engagement rate less than the average engagement rate. So you can switch the metrics depending on what you're trying to optimize for. I'm going to go ahead and undo those changes and just leave it based on the cost per conversion performance. So that is that. And again, it's only going to increase budget for my campaigns that are exceeding a daily pacing, right? So that they actually can take that budget. For example, if I've got $100 in daily budget, but I only spent $50 yesterday, then that means those campaigns can't get more budget behind them, right? So that's essentially it. I'm going to go ahead and enable Slack notifications. It's going to let me know it increased the budget for the amount of campaigns in that channel, and it's just going to keep me in the loop. I can completely customize this. You know, I can add different variables if I want different information just to keep me in the loop on around certain things. I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to go ahead and select my Slack channel. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now I would do the same thing for Meta, and I would publish this SAM. And now I have this working for me. It's checking again across those 21 campaigns. The moment they exceed a daily pacing of 100, it's going to go ahead and increase the budget if the cost per conversion is better than my average over the last 90 days. Automated, increasing and scaling my campaigns. Now we have to do the exact opposite, and we need to create a new workflow around decreasing the performance of my campaigns. So what I would do is I would do the exact same process, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify my rule in the second automation or in the second SAM workflow. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a negative budget adjustment. So just how we have a positive budget adjustment here of 20%, what I would do in my new workflow is I would just add the negative value of 20%. And I would publish this. And now what this means is campaigns have decreased budget by 20%. So now I would just update my rule template and I would say decreased budget for these campaigns. And that's essentially it. So now we've got two different workflows running simultaneously, looking over the same campaigns. And if the rule condition is met, it's going to go ahead and increase the budget. And if the rule condition is not met, then it's going to go ahead and decrease it. So what I would do now is I would just update my template here. And I can say instead of daily pacing being greater than 1, I can do the opposite, right? And again, this is if I want to set up a workflow to decrease my budget. In our experience, using the increased budget one is usually enough, because if those campaigns are not spending the budget, then you're usually okay. But I can completely flip the script here. So what I can do now is I can say, all right, if my cost per conversion is less than my average cost per conversion over the last 90 days, I don't want to put more budget behind those campaigns because they're not working really well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the negative bid adjustment of 20%. And maybe what I would also do is maybe I would add in some additional conditions. Maybe I would only run this one once a week because it's a bit more of an ongoing maintenance, right? It doesn't have to run every single day. So this is how I could run different workflows simultaneously to control my budget. I hope that makes sense. And definitely, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But leaning into automation and using workflows like this, you can take the logic that's in your mind that you're already executing manually, write it out, and then build a workflow around it to streamline that and scale your time. I'll see you in the next one.